All right, no answer, but I sent.
Yeah, yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Joe, you ready? Go for it.
We'll call to order the regular meeting of the Recreation Park Commission, Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. The Recreation Park Commission will broadcast, well, not tonight.
No, it's on. It's good.
Oh, it's on. Oh,
We're good.
excuse me. The Guadalupe Park and Recreation Commission will broadcast live streamed on the Guadalupe's official YouTube channel. Let's see, let's go down to roll call.
Joe Harris,
Present.
Enrique Ortiz, Emily Dryling,
Here.
Michael Jimenez,
Here.
Arnulfo Navarro. Alrighty, we got 3 present.
Thank you. Put a pledge of allegiance. Please stand. Position. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Community participation forum. We don't have anybody there. We're gonna miss number 3. Item number 3, go to consent calendar. Item number 4. The following items are presented for the commission's approval without discussion of a single agenda item in order to expedite the meeting. Should a member of the Recreation and Parks Commission wish to discuss or disapprove an item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion of approval and considered as a separate item. Item A, approve the minutes of the Recreation and Parks Commission regular meeting of April 2nd. Looking for a motion. Motion. Second.
I'll second.
We have a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved, thank you. We're down to regular business. And I see the Boys and Girls Club representatives here.
Yeah.
Item number 5, how are we doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thank you, Kevin. Oh. These are mics.
So practicing there every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then they had a total of, I think it was 8 duels, and then they had a big final one at City Hall this past Sunday. So we had over 55 kids from 5th or 8th grade practicing. There was a lot of members from the Boys and Girls Club. So it turned out that all 55 kids signed up for the Boys and Girls Club. Most of them are coming in early, just hanging out, and then it would stay after the practice. So that finished up this Sunday. We have our teen night still running every Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. The gym's open for all the boys who want to pick up basketball games. And you get me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of. Oh, there you go. We have an arts and crafts craft usually in the teen room during the teen night. So either if they don't want to play basketball, they can hang out in the games room or in the arts and crafts. Complete the craft. Daily crafts brought our smart girls, which is showing our girls how to be kind to each other and how to control their emotions. Passport of Manhood shows all the boys from 11 and up basics, like we took them fishing, and then we talk about like wilderness, and we go outside for nature walks, just a way for them to express themselves. We also have fine arts with all of our art camps that are going on. Our PE and our photography class ends on Friday. So we have the kids learning about photography the last 3 weeks. So all their final pictures are going to be turned in, and hopefully we want to display them up somewhere in the club. We also finished our NYOI survey. So this is our National Youth Outcome Initiative survey that the Boys and Girls Club does as an organization and as a whole in the country. Every kid from the age 9 and up is encouraged to participate. They don't have to, they don't want to. It is anonymous. It's just simple questions of how they like the club. And it turns out we get all the information at the end of the year So it shows us what we could improve in and what they see that we're doing good or what we need to work on. We had over 44 members participate in it, which is awesome. A lot of our teams wanted to participate. At the end, I said if more than 50% of the eligible kids participated, I was gonna dye my hair pink. I dyed my hair pink, so they got to see me with pink hair. All the kids enjoyed it. We gave them a pizza party for participating. We also had spring break, the first day. They ran from 7:30 to 5:30, 7:30 AM to 5:30 PM. The school district, the Guadalupe School District provided all the breakfast and lunch, which was awesome. They also paid for all the feed for any kids that wanted to go. We had a total of 55 members going daily. At the end on Friday, we took all the kids to go watch Kung Fu Panda 4 at the movie theaters. It was all covered too, which is awesome. All the kids got to go to the movie theaters for free. Right now, our flag football league is started up this month. There's teams from Santa Maria, Orque, and Guadalupe. It's co-ed. It runs from 1st to 8th grade. And in practices are usually taking place right now at Leroy Park. And there are over 80 kids from Guadalupe signed up in that league, which is pretty cool. And then registrations for our volleyball, our fall volleyball, and our basketball league during summer are open. And that is it. Any questions?
Any questions? I have a few questions. You guys were working on a reading program at one point, right?
Correct, yeah. So, are we? Donor? I think it's out of reach. I'll probably get closer. There you go. Oh, there you go. Our reading is run by a volunteer, Nat. He donated the whole library. I think it's through Trilogy. I think that's the name of the group that donated the library. So him and volunteers went and help the kids with reading and comprehension. They had to take a pause for a while. I'm not sure why, but they should be coming back this summer. So they're getting new volunteers and they're going through all the background checks and everything right now, fingerprints. But we have the library open all the time with the kids and homework.
So do you know what kind of outcomes you're achieving with these reading
Can you
programs?
use the microphone, please?
We don't necessarily, since we don't receive the kids' grades. We just hear back from like parents or the kids themselves, like, they're improving in their grades, but we can't physically go log in and see their grades and stuff.
Oh, I understand that, but
Yeah.
is there some way that you guys can measure it? I mean, it doesn't seem.
I mean, I would like for a way to see you measured. We can't fix scores like exams on the kids.
No,
Yeah.
I understand why, you don't have to force it.
Yeah.
You can give them some type of pre-test, post-test.
Yeah,
And I know it's all volunteer, but I would just like to see some type of way that you can measure what type of outcomes you're achieving with this reading program, because I would really wanted to see that more than, you know, and I know you guys had a bad rap about just having people going in there playing games and whatnot. And in the years past, right?
right.
So to move away from that, I know you guys are doing a lot more than you did in the, but I wanted to see how that was working.
Since we are partnering with the Guadalupe School District, one of the requirements is that the kids have to, if they're doing their homework there, they also have to go through their login. So we provide the kids with Chromebooks and they go into their login to Google Classrooms and they go through the programs, the same programs they go through school. And then from there, all that information goes back to the school district. Maybe I could ask them for a copy or like any data that they have or statistics that are improving, like during spring break, one of the hours or rotations were that the kids had to go and work in, log into their Google Classrooms and work on the programs that their teachers left them for spring break. Maybe I could ask for statistics of how many kids logged in, if they were improving in any way of reading or stuff.
It would just be beneficial to me. I don't know about the other board.
I'd like to find out too.
Yeah,
I think it's important to find out how these kids are doing, you know, with the types of programs and learning programs.
Right.
Not only reading, but, you know, general. You know, all the other activities are great, you know, flag football and all these other crafts. But I'm really focusing on getting these kids academically ready for the next grade level and pushing them.
yeah. One of the main programs we run during summer is called Summer Brain Game. And it goes off the grade the kids are in, and it kind of like retouches everything they learned last school year. So when they go back to school in the fall, they don't lose it. We went like through a whole training that I think it said almost half of the kids in low income areas lose everything in summer breaks. So that's the focus of our summer breaking. Should we focus and we touch everything they learn through the school year? That way, when they come back to the fall, they have it fresh in their memory.
Yeah, but you don't know
So
how.
our program leader that's leading that, I could maybe ask if there's a way we can count, or take a statistics or data of how it's helping them and beneficial.
That would help.
Yeah, for sure. Any other questions?
I know summer's right around the corner. Are you guys planning your normal summer rotation, and do you know when it's gonna start and end this year?
Yes, our summer program is gonna run from June 7th. Oh, sorry, not June 7th, June 10th to August 2nd. And it runs from 7:30 to 5:30 p.m. Yeah, it's 8 weeks. We are closed 4th of July, and then we're closed the Friday after 4th of July, which is the 5th of July. Right now, we have currently about 45 kids signed up, and then they're getting, as they come more and more, the ACES kids usually start coming in at this time. We send a letter out to the Guadalupe school district, so they're probably gonna send it out in their parents' square. We're gonna get out flyers, so we're trying to spread out the word.
Thank you.
What's your enrollment right now, like?
Our ADA, our average ADA right now is like around 45. We have over 100 kids registered as members, but not all of them show up every day. So our ADA, our average daily attendance is 45. Some days we hit 60, some days we hit lower, so that's our average.
Another question? No, we thank you.
Thank you.
Denise, you have any questions for him at all? You hold it down.
This one's not working. Not happy today. I don't have any current questions. I feel like that report covered the majority of what I was going to ask. So thank you so much for coming and presenting it.
No problem. Thank you. With that, we go to item number 6, Jack O'Connell first project updates.
Okay, so actually have some good updates this month. I was able to speak with the grant company from the city. And I spoke with his name. I know last time we were like, how do you pronounce his name? It's Davon. So if you speak with him, it's Davon. But I had a really good presentation and talk with him. And on May 23rd, he's working up in Sacramento to be able to get a meeting in person for me with the Natural Resource Agency, and then also the Department of Parks and Rec for the state of California, to be able to talk about the project. Received some really good feedback from him that the proposal is very strong. Our demographics in the city are very strong. What we're asking for is in line with what most of these funding resources are looking to be able to provide funding for. But really what can set us apart is beyond the presentation is actually having somebody go in and speak with some of these individuals that are very invested in awarding these funds, and to be able to provide more of the voice track of why is it so important to our city. So I'll be doing that on May 23rd, times to be determined, but I will give you all an update at the June meeting. And then they are working on getting a meeting with Carvajal's office with me as well. So that'll be the next one. Originally, I was supposed to go to DC last week and I was gonna meet with them then, but my travel plans changed. So I will probably be going back again in June. So I'll have that meeting with Carvajal's office when I'm back there in June. So no money yet, but starting to get some good feelers out there and some positive feedback. And then the urban greening grant that we put in for several months ago, the one that's coming in just under the 2 million, I think it's 1.97. That one was delayed, but it is projected for this summer. We'll find out if we receive that or not. So that is all of the latest on the Jack O'Connell front. Any questions?
So when the full grant, so the next step is yes or no?
When do you expect it? When do you expect to hear? Yes or no?
So originally we were supposed to hear in the spring, but because of California budget shortfalls, it was delayed because there was a different funding source. And so we're now hearing August-ish timeframe. So that would be the first big grant, and then these other Two agencies, the Natural Resource Agency and the Department of Parks and Rec, have an additional funding window that's getting ready to open as well. So getting in front of them before the funding window opens will be helpful. And then Carvajal's office also has the ability to set aside funding for specific projects as well. And so this would be beneficial for us if we can get in front of him too.
Just a comment, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm sitting on that board for the nonprofit that we're starting here with the city. And there's a group, lobbyist group out of Sacramento, Arredondo, they volunteered to do some work. Maybe we should link up with him,
Yeah,
his group, because he has a lot of connections over there, and that might be helpful, but I'll give you the.
yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sleep now.
Good job.
Waiting.
Safe traveling and everything.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's go to item number 7, Central Park update.
Okay, so after our meeting last month, 2 days after it, I had my Central Park meeting, and it just happens to be that the way the calendar fell, last Thursday, I had a second meeting. So you see the minutes for April's meeting in there, but because the agenda was already done, I couldn't put, it would kind of weird, like, I just had a meeting again, so you'll see those notes or those, meeting minutes for next, commission meeting. But anyways, I'm gonna kind of summarize what I got from both of the meetings to give you the most current information. As of right now, everything is rolling along when it comes to the planning and working on the different pieces of architecture that need to be done and getting everything ready to go on the back end. The thing that's holding up the project still is Verizon. We're still in a legal dispute with them. And they don't want to move ahead with the project until we get the water tower part done, because you have to have heavy equipment in there to get the water tower part done. And so we would destroy the renovations that we're doing to the park if we did the park first. Technically, we're so close, we could do the park first if we didn't have to deal with the water tower. But it just doesn't make sense, and it would be more expensive to go back and fix things after the fact. So what they were talking about was having some sort of deadline of like, we're only gonna wait this long. And if we can't figure out something with Verizon, then not doing the water tower part, going straight to the park, getting those renovations done, getting the park up and going, and dealing with the water tower later. So there is no deadline set for that, but that is kind of the second option that they're looking at if the Verizon kind of legal battle takes too long. Because we do have funding, and the funding, obviously the grants will expire. So we have to get that done. Let's say everything with Verizon got dealt with this week magically. The water tower part takes about 5 months. It's resurfacing it, and then the painting project that they originally were gonna do. And then getting all the cell towers back on it, finishing anything that needs to be done down on the ground, so then they can move forward to the park. And then the park construction would take about 6 months. These are all estimated, so don't quote me on it in the future. But it's all estimated. So we have five months for the water tower, 6 months for the park. If all goes well, and fingers crossed, the idea is that the park would open next summer 2025. So we will just keep hoping and praying, and hopefully Verizon comes around, because AT&T and I think it's T-Mobile have no problem moving their cell towers for us to do the maintenance, which is needed to the water tower, which is long past due. And then of course the painting is going to be necessary, because we're going to resurface it, and it will make it look more appealing as well. So that is the current update, and we're kind of just in that holding pattern, and I might give you a very similar update next month until we can get past the water tower part.
Can we get? Go ahead, could we change the name now?
So that was a question I had, if we were gonna go ahead and start using the new name now, or if we were gonna wait until the renovations are done and kind of not unveil it necessarily, but kind of go with that new idea, because as of right now, it's been the Central Park project, and on all the documentation, and everything, they're still going off of that for just the renovation purposes. So,
Formerly known as or something.
yeah, so it's, if you guys wanna recommend that, I can, double check, I guess. The resolution was signed and everything, so I guess technically, the park is named that already. So that would,
We couldn't be able to, as far as the element. Could be new part, new name and, I don't know.
yeah, so I didn't know if we wanted to wait until it unveiled and the new sign goes up and everything to start referring to it as that, or just start doing it now. If so, I can go to my next meeting with Central Park, the Central Park group, and let them know to start switching all the documentation over.
Yeah,
Let
I
me-
would prefer that. I mean,
Okay. Do you guys want to do kind of like a little quick and informal
What kind of,
vote of what, of how you want to move forward with that?
I think if we just say formerly known as, that way there's no
You wanna
confusion.
make a motion?
can we vote on that?
I think you can recommend it to me,
Yeah, we
and
can
then,
recommend it.
and then I can move forward with that, so. If you want to go ahead with, who wants to do it, something where it's like formally known as City, Central Park, or if you want to wait to unveil it at the. Opening of the park, let me know how you feel,
That was two questions.
okay, you take the charge, Joe.
All in favor of, referring to it as formerly known as of now? Say, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Okay,
We recommend it, go for it.
all right, perfect.
Let the record show, we all agree, we didn't vote.
The other question I had on that, I remember, and forgive me, remember things quickly. We were having some issues with budget, right? And then we were, so there was somewhere around there was some discussion as to what are we gonna cut, what are we gonna leave out? I never understood where this is at this point. You have an idea what was cut, if anything? Cause I know that water tower was a big concern because of the costs behind it. And at one point, we had a discussion here, just tear it down, you know, obviously that wasn't.
Yeah,
My point was that
Yeah.
there was some issues regarding
Right.
budget, and we never really, I don't know if anybody else got any clarification as to.
No.
What is gonna be cut out of this picture because of the budget shortfall? Do you, at this point, know?
I am. Tail end of everything
Yeah.
that happened previous to me 7 weeks ago. When Hannah was here, and I've gotten little bits and pieces at this last meeting. I tried to pick their brain, but I also didn't want to prolong the meeting and make it really long for them to tell me the whole history. So I'm trying to formulate a list of questions to take back to the next meeting and see if I can just get some brief answers. So I'll definitely take that back to the next meeting, which is the first Tuesday of every month. No, first Thursday of every month, excuse me. And I will ask them about that. As of right now, it seems like the water tower is fine because that's almost our whole meeting was about that. So it sounds like they must have the budget for that. Otherwise, I don't think we would have continued to talk about resurfacing it, painting it, and moving forward that way.
They're not
But
tearing it down.
it doesn't sound like they're tearing it down. If we were tearing it down, we would have a new park sooner rather than later.
We have to start that kind of somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I think that's a great idea. Next time you go to the meeting, you'll find out.
yeah, absolutely. And then I also pulled out the plans that are, about that thick. And they're in my office, and I want to double check with them if I have the latest and greatest of what it's supposed to look like, or if there's been changes since then, and if maybe they can send me a new plan. If so, I can share that with you guys at the next meeting, so you have a visual of what it currently is looking like.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to come to make a little, meeting for us from there. To come here, I think somebody's been here before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We did invite him to come back in whenever.
Oh, okay, would you like me to invite them to come to our next meeting?
Feels like it's, or do we think it's time for an update?
You can get a little further
Yeah.
down, because I don't think there's anything that's happened since the last update. I'd hate to not necessarily waste his time, but
But I,
maybe once we get moving a little.
yeah, I think you could.
Okay, yeah,
If we have other questions that you can't answer, then maybe we can fight that.
absolutely. I'll definitely work on that. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You know, for Verizon, I know there was a little bit close hold. They weren't able to say exactly what our options were, but at one point it was. Verizon was willing to remove the tower or
For
the,
$100,000.
yes. And then, is that still where we're at, or have we gotten to any point of negotiation?
In this last meeting, they just told me that the attorneys are still negotiating or trying to negotiate. They did not give me details. I'm not sure if they're aware of the actual details and they've been given an update by the attorneys. So I don't have a clear answer for you, but I will ask at the next meeting, and if they don't, I'll see if maybe I can reach out to the attorney and he can give me a little summary of where we're at with that.
I got all excited because I saw they were doing stuff on the cell tower and I was like, they've reached resolution, and then, no, it's like,
And that did get brought up in the meeting because I saw them again today, but a couple of weeks ago, they were up there for like 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
the crane was up there and the crane went away. And then all of a sudden, when I drove in today, I was like, oh, it's back. So one of the points that had been brought up is, and I don't know all the technical terms, I'm kind of just going off of what I heard. So- Yes,
Yes.
so they need to go from 4G to 5G anyways, so the concept was if you have to switch it. Hello, if you have to switch it anyways, can you switch it while we need to do the maintenance? So that you're taking it off anyways, but then when the mention of the crane being up for 2 weeks was there, we were worried that they were putting 5G up and taking 4G down, which then takes that kind of option off the plate. So.
And it looks like that's actually what happened, because 4G is like this and 5G is like this.
Okay,
And-
you know better than I do when it comes to the visuals and stuff like that on that stuff, so you might be right, that might be what has happened.
Well, okay.
So I will get updates on all those questions for you, and if there's anything else that comes up, you guys have my email address, feel free to send me a message before the first Thursday of the month, and I will answer any questions that you might have.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Already. We have a guest in the audience. Thank you for coming.
Hey. Good. No more?
No more. Not sure. You're here.
Thanks for that. Do you want to speak to us about anything?
Sure. Wait, cool. That's why I did that.
Start repeating your name.
Joshua Madrigal.
Yeah.
How are you doing today? Well, there's a lot of people have concerns. Well, a lot of the younger generation, they said I could be their voice because they're not going to these meetings. So it's yeah. So at least from I want to say 25 to 20, and then 18, 19-year-olds. Yeah, basically that they feel that you guys don't do enough. We understand we're broke, but it's been a long time. There's nothing, and then you guys take down the handball court, and you guys don't put a new one. Now all this like soccer, now it's like basketball, you know. So nice like handball, you know. There's no plans for that. But we complained on that one. The homeless people, I don't talk to themselves. You guys want like talk to them or anything like that? Like, at least like, you know, kind of understand like what to do about them, or how to go about it.
Josh, you talking about homeless, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's out of our purview here. We don't deal with that, but.
Because you don't know.
The council, they will.
This is the recreation and
Or
parks.
Parks and Rec.
Oh my God, I thought about that.
No, that's all right, but.
Yeah, it could be like a little one there trying to follow him.
Yeah.
Instead of that, my friends, but.
Yeah.
Stupid little. It's like half a baseball thing is not, you guys never competed it, or I don't know what that is. Yeah, just forget about that project and like come up for, you know? Because that one's way too much money, that one, like, and it's gonna be for like one little kids, and like, it probably was good reasons, but there's no reason for it,
No, but
you know?
your point is well,
They don't wanna come and pay Chivo on Guadalupe.
We had to take the handball court down because it was dangerous,
The handball part?
because it was made with squares like there, and that's not what we had designed.
I mean-
Little points, there was points, it was dangerous points to fall on, so it was like a dangerous thing, and that's
Yeah,
not
but-
how we designed it.
It was a hazard?
Yeah.
But it wasn't dangerous.
Yeah, well, I needed one person to hit it, and it was,
a lawsuit.
yeah.
$40 a fix it.
Look, we're working on handball courts.
Are they drawing a handball part? Yeah. What about like you know, like the cross and all that?
Cross,
Mm-hmm.
cross, when you cross.
The cross.
Oh,
Oh, lacrosse.
well,
Lacrosse.
well, that's how we separation of church and state, so I don't think they could the city could put a cross.
Lacrosse.
I don't know,
Yeah, I got it.
cross, that's
Like what do you guys like do for because when I was growing up, there was nothing really like. Once I have it with handball or as an exercise, you know, what do you guys do if the kids are here? They get all fat and like. You know, they don't get all fat.
there is a sport, there's football, there is wrestling, there is basketball, there's
A lot of time about the kids who don't do all those things, the ones that, you know,
like, what else do you want them to do?
Lacrosse.
30-minute runs. I don't know, go for an hour run, like
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, we're working on that.
Well, we do have runs where we have like 10K, 5K, and it's called a paint run.
Yeah, but those are like, every once in a while, they're never like, you know, you need consistency.
Well,
Yeah.
then we're starting to be consistent on those. This new commission, this other things are.
Who's the information?
We are. So right now, we're having a proposal to fix Ocala Park to actually put a track where people can go walking around. Or jogging.
Or running.
They have the track though already, like,
So, but, okay, have you ever played sports or been involved in any sports or anything?
the play sport itself, but.
Well, and, you know, yeah, it's always up to the individual person. And even it's up to the parents of the child to involve them or have them exercise. It's not.
Like, how do you? You go on TikTok and then like, oh yeah, that's good.
And you have a solution?
Yeah,
What's your solution?
like,
How are you gonna reach all these kids?
if I worked in the, if I here, I would do it, you know?
Mhm.
But how?
I went to the school. You know, like, struggling with the runs and jogs and all that, you know?
We have a lot of things going in.
And right there, I talk to,
Yeah,
you know? I'll go like that.
Joshua, one of the things that this commission works on is volunteer basis. As you
Yeah, I
know.
understand.
And it does take a lot of effort. I mean, if you're willing to do the work and, you know, get the folks together, we'll certainly support it. Yeah, that's not gonna be a problem. But we don't have the manpower, excuse me, lady, to do a lot of this work, but yeah, we'll back it up.
How do I go about that?
What was it?
How do I go about it that way?
Well, I think it takes some effort on your part. You have some great ideas, but it's gonna take someone like you, maybe a couple of your friends that have similar interests. To get together and say, hey, let's start this. And then you guys come back to us as a group and say, hey, we want to start this. What days can we use the field? How can we get equipment? We'll look at resources. We don't have a lot, but you know, we go out there and say, hey, you know, this youth group wants to start this particular activity. And let's see if we can get you guys equipment. So yeah, come back with with a group of your friends, you know, and let's see if we can get something off the ground. We're here for you guys. But obviously, there's only 4 or 5 of us. We can't do it all. And we're working on it.
Creation department basically has one single person working on all the events all year long, which is myself. And then I have one employee that works on the facility rentals. So other than that, I'm a one-man show. So when you do hear that the color run is just once a year, which is a 5K, or you do hear that there's just the one Cinco de Mayo event or this or that, it's one person doing all that. Joe Harris right here, our chair, every single month, he volunteers all his time to have at least 4 to 5 volleyball sessions in the auditorium. So that's another sport. He's doing dodgeball this year, or excuse me, this month, we're starting dodgeball again. And then he also has basketball, and that's all listed on either our social media, or if you go to the auditorium right now, you can see the schedule and take a picture of it. So there is lots of different options, for kids. And we're trying to bring more and more options, art classes and different things like that for the kids that maybe don't want to play basketball or don't want to wrestle.
They guys talking about boxing and all that too?
No, it's not up to us. It's up to the citizens to bring that up.
Yeah.
That's how things work.
So like. I'm
It's not manifested by the city.
Like, go to the door with a petition, you need a signature? Or like.
No, just get a flyer going and you say that you're gonna have a big meeting, then you invite people and the people are interested, they come.
And that's what we're,
And
Right now,
remember the saying, you build it, they will come.
you guys are in.
Not understanding, if you want people to come, you have to build it.
No, I want to talk about like, we're not, it's real. Or like, do I just like, show up and like, okay, you guys are gonna be here and. show
No,
up?
there's always a process.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would speak to the lady right there, name?
Yeah, you can actually come to my office, which is right next to the auditorium. We can set up a meeting, so you can tell me what your schedule is, I can tell you what my schedule is, we can sit down. You can tell me your ideas, and then, a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, I wanna do lacrosse. And they have all these friends that wanna do it, and then all of a sudden I put something like that on, that's just an example. And then 2 people show up. So we go from a lot of people wanna do it to only 2 people, so that's where you come in, where you talk to your friends and stuff and say, hey, what do you guys wanna see that the recreation park isn't doing, or department isn't doing? You come to me and tell me, okay, I have 24 people that wanna do this sport, and then we'll,
Is funding a concern for you guys?
funding is a concern, absolutely, I have a budget every year.
How much you guys get budget?
It depends on the event. But if you wanna come to.
No fund, there's no like. nothing
Yeah.
side, nothing?
Joshua, that's public information, so you can go anytime into the city hall right here in the office.
Oh, I tried, but they send me over there and send me over here and send me over there. Never get a straight answer. They hired
It's
me.
online too.
It's online.
Online.
Well, you can go online and look up the city budget.
I'm not good on
Administrative office, which is at, all the way through the end of the city hall, and they can provide you a copy of that as well. It's all the way through the far glass door, and it's that first office there across from the police department.
They always send me something over here. They always send me over there and then say that, oh. That was.
So that's,
We're good, runaround.
that's city administrative office, I'm not giving you the runaround right now, that's where you need to go if you want to know budget. And then if you wanna set up a meeting with me, I'd be more than happy, I know we don't have very much more time tonight to keep on chatting about this, but I'd be more than happy to set up a meeting with you and bring me your ideas, and then bring me a list back of people that are actually interested in doing that, and let's set up, whatever it is and try to get it going.
Because everyone wants to play handball. And the tournament, that would raise kinds of.
Well, yeah,
Everyone's the title of the king, you know?
Yeah.
Awesome. So why don't you come to my office? I'm there Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. It's right next to the auditorium. It says recreation office.
Monday before.
Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. Yeah.
Thank you,
so
Josh.
much.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Excuse me, Commissioner, because I thought that was kind of down. Let's go to item number 8, fashion show. And should we, because the news was not here, do you?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take the next 2 items, but I'll go ahead and with the fashion show right now. So the fashion show was, I thought, a success for the very first year. Emily, you were there, correct? Yeah, it was our Unclosed Vision, along with the help of Stephanie from FSA. They did wonderful work. The theme was farmers market. So he had made this full-size truck that was in the center of the auditorium, with the runway being around it, and then he brought in, I don't know how many flowers, like there were probably
Hundreds of.
there were probably, I don't know, like 30 or 40 buckets, big 5-gallon buckets full of water and flowers to give you that farmer's market feel. So it was like a floral farmer's market. And then the runway was all the way around the gym 2 times, in a smaller square and in a bigger square. We had I think probably like 6 or 7 designers there, and a few just popped up out of the crowd. And we're like, hey, I made this, can I walk the runway? And we're like, sure. You know, as long as you made it or designed it, and you wanted to show it off, you could also model it. We had some models, like you said, at the last meeting, come all the way from Los Angeles. They were really stoked, they really enjoyed it, they said, hey, anything you do, let us know, we wanna come back. We had our city council member Christina, model. We had her kids come and model because we did have a designer that had, not toddler clothes, but younger kid clothes. Our NUFO himself had a rolling rack of clothes that must have had at least 40 pieces that he handmade or hand knitted. Pretty incredible. They were really, really impressive. If you do want to see any pictures of any of these items, it's on our social media. You can go to the Instagram for the recreation department here in Guadalupe. You can also go to our Facebook page. I constantly posting all the pictures so that you can get a visual on what I'm saying and see how awesome it was. Based on the way it went, I would love to see it done twice a year, maybe like a spring and a fall. I think it was really cool, and I think it's something that could, you know, really start building. And I feel like people just enjoyed having a platform to share their stuff. I mean, we had, I think, 2 ladies that were a little, I don't wanna quote because I'm not sure, but I would say like 70s, 80s. That model
next to me was like 85.
Yeah.
She had like a denim
Like a-
coat with
like a
a
vest?
needle point goose on it that she
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
And then there was like the little kids too, so really broad ages.
Yeah. We even had a jeweler that came, and it was kind of a broad window. I mean, if you sewed it, if you knitted it, if you handmade the jewelry, it was a fashion show, it was open. Actually, I'm a liar, we had 2 jewelry designers there, and so they were just going up to some of the models and saying, hey, you know, I think this piece would look really great with what you're wearing. The other thing that I really liked, although it wasn't as planned and organized, but I think it worked for at least the first show, is all the models were allowed to wear whatever they wanted. They could just go up to the rack, grab it, and put it on. And so we were just constantly having things recycled. Sometimes you were seeing the same thing, but worn with other items, you know, maybe a different bottom and the same jacket. Or a lot of the pieces that our new film makes are they can be turned inside out. So all of a sudden it looks completely different turned inside out. It is, you know, it's lined really nicely and sewn really nicely where you wouldn't even know it's turned inside out. So I would say every, you know, 3 or 4 wears out of it, and it had a different vibe every single time. And different models were wearing it as well. So it was really a really neat fashion show, and I feel like it was something that the community members that were there enjoyed, and the media came out, and so I feel like that helped get the word out a little bit more.
I saw it on TV a couple times.
Yeah. So I think we should build upon that. And I think it would be awesome to continue that collaboration between the recreation department and FSA.
And I was thinking annual, but you said twice a year, maybe?
I know it's a lot of work, in the sense of, I mean, our new ones definitely put a ton of work into this one because they hand painted a lot of the different decor, and I thought it was printed and then stuck on the produce boxes because the concept was to get produce boxes and then hand paint labels from previous farmers and previous producers and put them on these boxes. And so it'd be like 8 boxes, and when you took it apart, each box had a little piece of the picture, and then obviously when you put it together, you saw the whole label. I thought it was like printed and glued on. No, they were all hand painted. So I know they put a ton of effort into it. I'm not saying that we should put that much effort into the next one, but I think we could do themes where maybe like one's a little more eccentric and a little more time consuming, and then maybe one that's a little less labor when it comes to the decor, and go back and forth in between those 2. And I just think it would be cool to have 2 because you would be able to get that the fall time, colder weather kind of clothes, and then the springtime where it's like lighter and funner.
We're known for fashion shows too.
Yeah.
So-
And really well attended by like people that I recognize both as locals and people from out of the area too. They're like, oh, I heard that you guys were having this, so we attended. And they have food, and so people were eating food from Lobos, and it just, I think the big age range was the coolest thing. And then they, all those flowers at the end, he was like, and everybody can take flowers home. And so people were getting tons of pictures and leaving with like really nice bouquets.
Yeah. There were like roses and Gerbers, like expensive flowers. And so you were walking away with like a $40, $50 bouquet is what it would have cost you if you went and purchased it. And I mean, they were massive bouquets and people were taking 2 or 3 because even at the end, when I was helping clean up, we still had a lot of flowers. So that was kind of a cool takeaway. And I think people really enjoyed that.
So those are donated, the flowers are donated?
It sounded like some of them were donated, but I believe Arnulfo's mother is a florist. So I believe they purchased the rest of them. So I want to say that the majority, if I heard right, were purchased and some were donated. But yeah, it was really cool.
It's too bad our wasn't here to recognize it for that. That was.
It was amazing effort in between Arnulfo and Stephanie, and they put countless. I came on the tail end again because I just recently got hired, and so I was a stage manager and I took over. I took over getting the models out and the timing and all that. But I cannot take any credit for the design or
The idea.
the idea and the vision behind it.
Back. That meant a lot to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to do the most I could when coming in at the end. I was like, what can I do to help you? But they really had it under control, and it was an awesome vision.
His sister was doing a lot of video, like I think she videoed almost the whole thing, and so I had recommended to him after the show, like if he did have a little video of like a couple minutes, if he would play it at the meeting, I thought it would be cool for everybody to see it, but his sister got a lot of video.
Yeah, and then also, I want to say with the Ellen Hancock, some videoing or some
Okay.
department came over with their students. They were videoing it and taking pictures to actually make kind of a documentary-ish kind of video out of it. So that should be something that they're working on as well, and hopefully we can present that in future meetings, and depending on how long it is, that I could put it on our social media or at least link it on our website for people to watch.
I thought that would be cool to highlight his work.
Thank you. Sounds great. Thank you, but that will go to item number 9, the Cinco de Mayo celebration.
Yeah, so the Cinco de Mayo celebration was just this last Sunday. It was my first big event here with City of Guadalupe as the Recreation Department Manager. I thought it went really well. I got great feedback at the event. Joe Harris was our representative at our recreation booth for all 4 hours. He did an awesome job as always. Yep. Michael was there, so he had a little firsthand knowledge there as well. I feel like people had a really good time. I think they really enjoyed the marimba and folklorico ballet that was there. I feel like it really gave people that positive vibe and give them that kind of cultural boost to see that traditional Mexican dancing and just the music. We had 21 booths that included info booths as well as organizations in the city that came out, and I had, like I said at last meeting, I sponsored out activities. So, you know, let's say the Dune Center came out and I said, okay, what kids activity would you like to sponsor? And it was all based on budget. They were like $10 to $25 was the budget range for the different activities, and they could just purchase it online and bring it the day of. And then they just had to have 1 or 2 people at their booth during the event to help kids with that. People were making piñatas. They were making these really cool sticker characters with Joe. We had axe throwing with the GBA and a can throwing. That was awesome. It was a kid friendly version of Costco, but it was still really fun. I did it myself. They were doing the style of doing tattoos. I still have mine on, and yes, I've washed my hand a million times and I can't get it off. But I have a dancing avocado on my hand. We had face painting through FSA. We had portrait taking, which was really awesome. I don't know if any of you that attended. Oh, Joe got his picture taken.
The first one.
Awesome. So the Royal Theater
Meeting.
committee, I believe it is, came out, with Chachi, and they set up a backdrop with professional camera and everything, took pictures for free of families or just single people or, you know, whoever wanted a picture. And then they went on, either the website later to take it off the website because he's uploading them, or he could airdrop them to them. I know a few people have reached out to me asking me what that website is. I just got it from him, so I will be posting it on our social media, just in case you missed your pictures. You, just check my Instagram or Facebook. You'll see that link there. What else did we have? We had Lobo for food. We had Sweet Affair for our sweet treat. We had the Historical Society out there doing an Adobe coloring activity. We had the library committee out there. I mean, it just goes on and on. And everyone was going around to booths enjoying themselves. I saw lots of smiles. I've gotten several texts and emails and Instagram, Facebook messages that people really enjoyed it. They really appreciated it being in the South because we had a very windy day.
We all do.
Yeah, absolutely. After 4 hours, you can only take so much of the Guadalupe wind. So yeah, I think it was a really successful event.
It was windy.
And, and I think everyone enjoyed it. So moving forward, I welcome anybody's advice or comments on, you know, what they'd like to see for next year. I already have a list of things that I want to switch up or add to next year. But you can always reach out to me on the email or the social media and let me know what you liked, maybe what you think could be worked on, and I'm all for making next year's bigger and better.
Could you have plan B to have it inside, because that was usually meeting.
Yeah, and we have that beautiful community center.
Gonna say, I love that you leverage that, because I feel like we haven't leveraged it, but the weather has. It wouldn't.
That's just.
In the past, like 2 years ago, or when we've done stuff outside, I feel like people come, but they don't really stay because it's just too windy.
You can only take so
You
much.
don't take it, and so it's nice we were able to leverage that. So I would say the more we can leverage that, the better.
Absolutely, and we do have the stage in there as well, so that works great for the marimba band to be up on the stage, the dancers to be down on the floor. There's plenty of space for not only all the booths, but I would say during that performance, there were probably about 200 people in the room.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And there was space, there was still walking room, you didn't feel like you were super crowded at that moment.
Overheating.
Yeah, no, it was very comfortable, so, yeah,
Congratulations on your first successful event.
Thank you. thank you so much.
I was very impressed. It was great.
Good, I'm glad.
But band was awesome.
They were off the chart. The whole time you felt, I think the mayor even said, you could just feel a really positive vibe in the room, and that,
A young man that was singing.
So I'm gonna say that one guy that.
yeah.
I have to say that, okay, that was pretty. Yeah, well, we were listening.
And
I
the
think
thing,
watch who that is.
and the thing about it, he was singing some of the old classic Mexican.
It felt so good when you heard them, it hit you right in the heart, and you're like, oh, I know this song, and like, you know, whether you're Mexican or not, or you come from that culture or not, you know those songs, you've heard them.
He stood the right way when he was singing.
Everybody, all age groups got something out of it, and yeah,
Absolutely.
congratulations, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
The only problem that I'm thinking in the future, I mean, if this thing grows, you're gonna outgrow that facility.
Absolutely. I can move to auditorium. The auditorium does have a larger stage and it has a large capacity. I think we're a little over 5,000 feet in the auditorium. So I can always go that route if I need to, just to keep the inside because it's just more comfortable.
And then you have access to a patio, so.
So if we use a tent, like
Yeah.
last time, we did a tent right there.
I don't think
Yeah.
the wind hits as hard back here as it does in the open area.
It's important behind the city hall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You always gonna come for the weather here.
yeah,
so that might be something that you might consider for next year.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
There were quite a few people I met that came from out of town.
I was all about marketing. Reaching out to the school district, I had them put it on the Parent Square app. I had physical flyers put in every classroom on all the bulletin boards for both schools. I was putting it on as many social media pages within and outside of Guadalupe that I could. I was asking all my friends to share it in 5 cities area. I was like, what more can I do? So that's my goal moving forward on all the events, is just really push hard on the marketing. And I appreciate all of you that share my flyers, because to you, it's just a quick share, you know, just press the button real fast and pop it up on your story and it's up for 24 hours, but for me, it's huge because it's just. If you have 500 friends and you post it, now I have 500 more people seeing it. And even if I get 3 or 4 people out of that group and they each have a family of 4, it starts building. And all of a sudden they bring their neighbor or their friend. So I appreciate everyone in the community that shares our flyers for all our events, even our drop-in, and I appreciate our commission and our city council for doing it as well. That's a huge help. If you guys continue to do that for me, that's huge.
At one point, I was trying to tell them with the recreation going on in the city, oh, we're from San Jose. Oh, okay, well, that's a little rough. I think, you have to hear, oh, look at it. Oh, okay, this is what we have here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, they're all welcome. Every city, every town around the area is more than welcome to any of our events, or our drop-ins, our sports. It's not off limits.
and we have people from Oshada from the volleyball.
Oh,
I
awesome.
finally asked them, so where do you live? Okay. And you come every week, yes, I thank you very much for coming
Yeah.
every week, you're here every week.
Absolutely.
It's awesome though, like as we're doing more stuff, like with my role with the Bulldogs and like we're interacting with people from like up north and south, like. The feedback is always, gosh, Guadalupe is doing so many awesome things, and so as we bring people from out of the area. It gives them a different perspective on what this town is, and so I love that we're open to it and share it because. It really helps people see the town differently than maybe they perceived it initially.
Right. It's not just come down for a delicious restaurant
Mhm.
and maybe a walk on the beach. There's so much more to it. I'm glad that people are starting to realize it more and more every day.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of people from different places coming to there, hanging and said, wow, there's a good group of people there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
everybody's kind of, they're gelling like a little family now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions about the Cinco de Mayo? If not, we will go to adult volleyball league, adult softball league.
Okay, so that's me as well. I'm just reminding the public as well as our commission that we are having our co-ed adult softball league that's 16 plus. If you're under 18 years old, you just need to have a waiver signed by legal guardian so that you can play with adults. And just be aware that you're playing with adults, but otherwise, we do have registrations open until May 22nd. That is a hard deadline, because there is some planning that needs to be done past that. We currently do not have anybody registered. And I have reached out to all the past managers of all the teams personally. Sent emails, included all the forms and everything to make it as simple as possible. Haven't heard anything back. I'm gonna, keep fighting the fight and keep marketing it and hope that maybe they're just holding out for the week of. That's fine. I don't care as long as it comes in by the 22nd,
Because it goes over pretty big.
Yeah, so we're hoping that it's just as popular as last year, and like I said, maybe people have just been busy and they're holding off, maybe it's something they're halfway done filling out. But all of the forms are on the website under the recreation department, so you just go to our Guadalupe, City of Guadalupe page, go to the recreation department. Go all the way down and you'll see a whole list of like 5 different forms, includes the rules. Everything that you need, it's all on there. The price has not changed from last year, so there's no increase. Same price for the team, which is $535. And we'd love to see everyone out there this year. So
Thank you. Hope for a good success again. Item number 11, movie nights.
yes, so we're bringing back movie nights again this year. We're gonna start in June. Our first movie night is going to be June 21st, and our second movie night in July is gonna be the 12th. Those are both Friday nights. Starts at 6 o'clock. We're leveraging that community center again, and we're gonna do them inside. I want people to be cozy and comfy. I want people to come in their jammies or bring their pillows or whatever they want to do. They're gonna be on a clean gym floor. We can start them at 6 o'clock because I can block out the light from the windows, so we don't have to run them as late as we did in the past. You do not need to be outside until 9:30 at night. I know that's kind of hard on the younger ones. So we're really trying to make it as accessible as possible to everyone. The movies have not been chosen yet because that happens through voting. So on social media, on our Instagram and our Facebook, I put up a couple options about two weeks before the movie. And I let them vote on both platforms. I add all the votes together and then whoever wins, whichever movie wins, that's what we're gonna play. So those won't be known until 2 weeks. Date, which is the one coming up is the 21st. And that flyer will be going out soon, and it will be going out to the school district before school ends. Get that last little bit of marketing in there.
Yes, great. Are you using the marquee over here, at the Royal Theater for announcing some of that?
I am announcing all my events on the marquee. It is a first come, first serve with recreation department getting first serve.
Yay.
Yay. I mean, but don't get me wrong, any event that's out there, currently I do need another event to put up on the marquee, just because the movie night's a little too far out right now to put it up. So if anybody in the community does have an event that is coming up and they'd like it on the marquee, there is a form, so you need to reach out to me via email or on social media. Any way that you reach out to me is fine. I will get back to you with an email address. I will shoot you over the form. The form will let you know how many characters can go on every line, all those little details, so that you can tell me exactly what we're putting on, when we're putting the marquee up, and when we're taking it down. So I do need to take the Cinco de Mayo down, and I need to put something else up other than Welcome to Guadalupe. So anybody out there with an event, feel free.
Good information.
I might send you, we have Bulldog registration, I just gotta make sure the date would align, but that would be one that. Be nice if we got a big push.
Absolutely, and we do need, the marquee is in English and Spanish, again, to be accessible to everyone. So make sure that when you fill out the form, you do look at that on the form, that we do need it in English and Spanish.
Item number 12, Park in the Park.
Okay, I just had a meeting on this one today. It's my next event coming up. Obviously the movie nights are kind of easy, quick events, not a whole lot of planning. So my next big event is Art in the Park. Guadalupe is going to have their first annual Art in the Park this year. It's going to be June 30th. We are collaborating with the GBA and doing this event together. It is in the planning stages, literally had our first planning meeting today. But the idea is to have an outlet for the youth and the community to come out, do different types of art activities. There's also going to be a photography contest. You're gonna use your cell phone. You don't have to have a professional phone. It's gonna be open to all ages. And you'll submit your pictures. Anybody in the community can submit their pictures. I will then have them all displayed, and then during that event, the community will vote in the different categories. So it will be something where the community votes, they're involved. You're gonna, have a 5-year-old voting, or you're gonna have an 80-year-old voting. So it's not gonna be a panel of 5 people that, maybe have a certain idea of what is cool or great. So I'm really excited about that portion. But we'll also have art class. We will have some things will be something that you pay. The fees are $2 for 2 or 3 of the events that we're doing there, activities. And then we have one art class that's gonna be like $5 a kid. All we're trying to do is just cover costs. So we're not out for a profit. Again, we want it super accessible to the community. And I know as a mom, when you have multiple kids, it adds up. So we're trying to make it really, really accessible and something that everyone feels like they can come and participate in. But we will have lots of free things to do, lots of activities. We'll have a few that you pay for. We're gonna have bounce houses. We're gonna have vendors for food and dessert and snacks. We also are having cornhole, kids and adults. We're gonna have some fun throwback games like musical chairs or the potato bag races. The wheelbarrow where it's like, two people and you do the wheelbarrow race. Yeah. So like kind of going back and just doing the really fun stuff that, I don't know, I grew up doing, maybe you guys did too. And just kind of those wholesome games that maybe this younger generation hasn't experienced or maybe they've seen but never been a part of. And just kind of have that kind of summer fair art in the park feel.
Like relay school?
Yeah.
I got a few relays that. Like the rubber ball, and they stand on a straight line and have to pull the ball over their heads to each other, get to the back, and then guys run to the front, stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you guys that you want to throw my way. I can't promise they'll all be put in place, but I'd love to hear any input. Any particular activities, all kind of art based. We really want to focus on that art. I mean, art is super subjective. I'm trying to kind of stay within the quote unquote box of art. You know, some people can be like, well, you know, I paint a chair and that's cool, but you know, how many chairs can you look at that are painted? But maybe you want to see something more like, you know, jewelry making or even knitting or photography, art. You know, I don't want to just see the professionals out there showing people that, you know, they've been doing this for 50 years and they're amazing. I also want to see the kids showing us what they can do. So I think it'll be cool to have that variety. You know, a lot of the art in the parks that I've ever been to, you go and it's these really professional artists and they're just selling their art. I want it to be more interactive where the community is actually participating in the art. And then it's being displayed. And with the photography contest, obviously this is up to the winners, but I would be super excited to display the winning photograph in my office in the recreation department and have that be something where it's not just, it just happens and it's over. But something that we can display, and it can be something where as people come in and out of the recreation office, which all are welcome, they can see these youth all the way through older members in the community's artwork and their creativity.
No, and you can say no profession, right? I mean, all amateur art. I mean, that's.
I really want to leave it open. I'm not saying that we don't want professional artists or people that are super talented. I mean, I want everyone to be included. I just really want to focus on people that come to the art in the park producing something creative or art while they're there. And you don't have to be great. You know, you can draw a smiley face or whatever makes you happy, because art is subjective, and you know, I want all ages to feel that they can have a creative outlet, no matter if it's making a bracelet or if it's painting on the canvas. We are going to have some vendors, but we are focusing that the vendors that sell do have things that are either handmade or created by them, not something that I can go to the store and purchase. So there might be some that are a little more professional, but we're really focusing on hitting the local community first and seeing like who in this local community has things that they make and they produce, to highlight the talent in our community first.
I don't think we're gonna do bonsai tree.
Yeah, so that's an art form. It's, you know, it's definitely something.
Bonsai club here. Guadalupe bonsai club.
Gilbert.
Gilbert, yeah.
Yeah, Gilbert.
Yeah, and so do they sell them or they just,
They teach you, they could.
they teach you how,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a few guys. I can give you the information.
Yeah, definitely send it over to me.
Gilbert has beautiful bonsai.
What's the bonsai club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to know about.
I didn't even know we had a bonsai club. Yeah.
Gilbert's beautiful.
If anybody is wondering, the vendor booths will be $20 a piece for vendors to sell their items. Yeah, we're again, we're just trying to cover costs. It's a matter of just making it something where everyone wants to come out and participate. We're not trying to, you know, make it hundreds of dollars where it's just inaccessible. And I also, you know, it's our first annual, so we don't know how many people are gonna come. It could be super successful. It could be more normal attendance numbers for Guadalupe, but either way, I just want everyone to have a good time.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. I think I'm looking forward to it. And then it's a learning experience too, right?
Absolutely. It's an experience.
Well, maybe we can do it is or that.
Absolutely. 100%.
Great, but it's a great start.
Thank you.
I really like that. It's gonna be great. Item number 13, commission request comments and meeting reports. Any questions, comments that we wanna?
I have a comment.
Yes.
I was, I encourage you guys to do this. Go on Netflix and look at this video, documentary called, 100 Year Centenarians. People that live over 100 years. And there's a gentleman that went to several communities throughout the world and found out why these individuals are living 100 years or more, small community. Did you see that?
Back to Japan.
Yeah, Japan, and then goes to Singapore and then to South America, Costa Rica. But the idea was that they wanted to replicate that idea of people in the community, you know, what attributes or what qualities do these communities have? Interesting, right? And it was a lot about obviously diet, right? You know, like some of the communities, you know, Singapore, they're saying that they don't allow companies to sell soft drinks that have, you know, unlimited sugar like the United States. You know, they have, and it talks about volunteering in the community, how that's very important to longevity. All these interesting things, and so they're starting to replicate what they call blue zones throughout the United States. And I said that would be something that maybe we could look at here for this community, because you know, health is a big issue, particularly you know, as they get older. But you know, teaching kids early what are the qualities of life, you know, working with the community, volunteering, doing all these things that make a community what it is, and enjoying life, enjoying seniors, you know, and all valuing people, you know. Those are interesting, and I just wanted to bring it up to, if you get a chance to look at it, it's on Netflix. I don't know how long it's gonna be running, but it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, Michael, I actually have a list that I made before I even got hired of events that I wanted to bring to Guadalupe, or at least ideas that were in my head, and one of them is kind of, some sort of, healthy habits presentation for the youth. It doesn't necessarily, I don't want it to be boring. I mean, I was a youth and you don't want to go there and just be talked to. But do something where it's hands-on. Maybe there's different booths and, you know, we could pick, look at that documentary and pick, you know, maybe there's 7 things. If you start practicing these 7 different things in your life now, they could lead to just a healthier life in general, or, you know, I don't know how many, that's just an example.
It's community wide.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They have
Yeah.
something, it's called Leadership Lompoc Valley that they have in Lompoc, but they have the youth Lompoc Valley, and it teaches the youth in the community like the pillars of a community, like city government, policing, recreation, and they get a cohort and then they're together for like 9 months. And so each month it's a different theme. They do a different, like learn about a different component of the city. Not just city government, but the entire city, but maybe something like that down the road where we spark an interest in our younger people to want to be, you know, kind of public servants, like give back in some way, not necessarily in an official capacity, but where people feel more invested in being a part of the solution of making the community better. I would love to see something like that here one day when we have maybe more time, more money, more resources, but I know LLV, and it's now called Futures Lompoc, they've had really good success with some outcomes based for their youth and trying to get them more invested in caring for the community.
Yeah, and part of what you just said was part of what Michael was saying, you know, volunteering, getting out there, being active, you know, it's good for the youth, and as we get older, that's super important for us to stay active and moving and keeping our going. So I think almost those 2 ideas could be rolled into one, maybe now sooner rather than later, and then it would be awesome in the future to do something like that where it's kind of a series of different classes that touch on all those different things.
Those are a good example. I mean, you've been volunteering since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I live forever, man.
Yeah, probably. You know, and you know, I always saw that and I always admired. I've been volunteering for a good 20 years now myself, so.
Yeah, it makes me proud.
You're prodigy.
We saw today by this young man at Cape, right? And we can get him to start with that idea of volunteering and doing, I mean, they want to do things, but they don't understand the concept.
They don't,
Get
no.
it started. Glad that, because I think that's something that we could start listening to and understanding, yeah, there's a desire to be, see how committed they are. And then, you know, help them, you know.
Like, you said, having a mentor is very important, because, I remember being a kid, you know, you don't even think you're looking for a mentor, but you are constantly looking for a mentor.
Right, yeah.
And then you find that person that even other than your parent, it's a positive influence. It's very important to
And
have.
not only the positive.
You know?
Unfortunately,
Yeah, yeah, but you're right, yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys, well, maybe in the future, like I said, we can look at going down that avenue and, you know. It's very interesting, but anyway, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Something on my list of, good that you guys, give me some feedback on that, and I think during the summer would be a great time, kids have lots of time on their hands. So that could definitely be something that maybe we do during the week. So I can start kind of looking into that and working on something like that, probably July.
Yeah, maybe we can even get a subcommittee to help you with ideas or each.
Help is always appreciated. And on that note, and the note that all of you were just making, I do want to thank Joe Harris so very much. And I want to make sure that everyone in the public knows. He not only volunteers all his time, as I said earlier, for drop-ins, and he's here every single week, sometimes multiple times a week, for 2 to 3 hours per time. But he also has helped me with, my events and stuff. We're communicating constantly. So I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much for all your help. And I hope that everyone in the community knows what an asset he is. And really, we wouldn't have some of the programs we have if Joe didn't step up and say, hey, I'll take that. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
The last comment I just wanted to make was just reminding everybody, public, if anyone's viewing online, that we are in the middle of Bulldog signups right now. So football and cheerleading, kids ages 7 to 14. We have our next sign up this weekend, which is happening at the Boys and Girls Club. What o'clock? 10 o'clock to 1. And registration is online this year, but we are available to take payments, help people with the online process, and then also fit them for their gear and uniforms. So it's a great program, all run by volunteers, and this is a really big turnout this year for both our football and our cheerleading programs. We're gonna have enough for 4 teams this year for cheer. So exciting that we have that. And then last thing is just we're getting ready to host the cheerleading expo for the Central Coast on November 3rd. So as you are planning your events, if you may avoid that weekend, putting anything on the calendar, because it is going to be a big draw for our community. And we have several vendors secured that are all Guadalupe businesses. And so it'll be a nice opportunity to bring our businesses to the Central Coast Youth Cheer that's being hosted at Pioneer Valley.
Date again?
November 3rd. And everyone's invited, if you want to see 1,000. Yeah, no, it'll be an awesome event, so if you'd like more information, please let me know.
I went to last year, they did a good job. I was very proud of the girls.
The theme is back to the 90s, if anyone wants to relive that decade.
That wasn't that long ago for me.
Yeah.
That is all I.
I tried really hard not to hijack your guys' meeting. For those of you I haven't met, I'm Whitney Furness, city council member. I am doubling as tech support, but I just wanted to mention, because it kind of crossed up, there's some crossover with what we voted on at the city council, the last month. I don't know how long ago it was, weeks ago. We just voted on to make our city, or to start the process of making our city more elderly friendly. I mean, like, for aging friendly. So but it's with, although I'm not in my council seat right now. But I actually think, especially when you're thinking of that in some different ways, I would love to, when we start talking about the different ways that we have to propose to, the city and whatnot, of making that, the plan, I'd love to have some of you involved in that. It sounds like you have some good ideas, and, you have, so we could go as big or as small as we want as far as the plans on how to make our city more age friendly. And yeah, I just want to say that there's crossover there. So if you guys are thinking about that, let's think together. So
Back in Central Park, we have a certain event there.
well, that's Mujeres. I voted on that.
feel eventually a large portion of the proposal was talking about, there's very few areas in our community that are good walking areas,
Mhm.
especially for seniors that are safe.
Yeah,
And so a large portion of the talking points of the proposal for the track was not only accessibility for the youth, to have that opportunity, but also for our senior population.
yeah, I'm so glad I came tonight and I plan to come more to help with this, not talk. It's so hard. But I would love to talk more specifically about those ideas you guys have, because this is a different agenda than what we deal with, so like some of the things are so much crossover, so I'm hoping that we can get you guys, more of a voice in what we're doing. Yeah, no, I'm like.
I know, and I take from these meetings, and then when I go to city council, I try to input what we talk about into the points that make sense for the city council meetings, and actually, when Michael was talking about it, and Emily was talking about the aging, all of them.
What's it called? Aging.
More
Aging great.
age friendly, I think age friendly communities.
Yeah.
But if it's about aging, obviously, we have to come up with a project, that the city is
Mhm.
going to take on. And, it's like a year, you have like.
There's a timeline.
There's a timeline, I mean, we can do it.
First
at our
it's
own
brainstorming,
pace.
yeah.
It's not something where it's like, you have to do it by this time, it's something that we're just voluntarily as a city doing, just because we want to be more age friendly. And, our number was pretty high.
We had a high number. We had the highest
53
number.
100, and I know that sounds terrible, but when you start looking at the factors and you start looking at the other, cities in the county, we
We had
had.
the highest score in the
Yeah, we
county.
had the highest score in the county. And in each category has a score, and then all those categories make up your whole score. So we had very high marks in a lot of our categories already. Even though it feels like there's still a lot to be done. But it's progress. And so we do have to pick a project that the city is gonna work on. And then that's kind of something that we're gonna work towards, what is the goal? And then how do we get to that goal, and having different steps on how we can implement that. It could be something as simple as a walking program, making sure that.
There's silver sneakers coming.
Right.
That would be an option.
Make sure that like we get a path made that's safe, and then once we have all that implemented, then implement, a walk program. It could be anything,
Yeah.
it could be presentations on just, making sure they're regularly getting resources and updated resources in person, to where they don't have to call on a phone and get frustrated that they have to press, 1 and then press 2 and 3 and, all that stuff. They can talk to people, in person. So whatever project the city decides to take on, we can add to that and build upon it. So I think there is a lot of crossover.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
it comes to that. And, of course, I know it's another Tuesday night, but you're all welcome to the city council meetings, and I know that that's gonna be brought up again, I think,
Yeah, we'll talk more about it. I think we just initially voted on
just even doing it.
that we
Being part
want
of it.
the intention of making our city more age friendly. And age friendly, the point that the lady made, and I know I'm not talking to my thing, but I'm talk loud. But the point that the lady made when she did her presentation was that if we make changes to the parks and whatnot, they affect older people, but it helps the younger people too, and families and things like that. I know I'm preaching to the choir. Now my people.
You were just mentioning how much crossover, like the things that you do, and you're like, oh, well, this is good for seniors, it's good for everyone.
Yep.
And vice versa, some of the things that we implement for youth are so great for seniors, and so. Everything that we do and everything that we implement, it doesn't just affect one group.
Yep.
But it's awesome to know that everything that we do that is specifically geared towards seniors will help the whole community.
We have a 63-year-old man playing basketball with us on a regular basis.
Oh,
That's awesome.
I want to know where I can get that shirt that you're wearing.
From back in the day.
Oh, man, it's cool. I like that.
Thank you. And we're getting to the point where you think we're introducing yourself out here. He's taking care of technology for it, so thank you. Motion for adjournment, if anybody'd like to go home. Motion doesn't mean to go to.
Uh-oh.
We all motion.
Second.
We all motion. I'll make a motion. Motion made in second. All of the approved, by the saying aye. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for inviting us into your home.
Thank you. Hold on, who seconded it?
I did. What was your attitude?